Hello and welcome to Arts Insider. I'm your host Sadie. We have a jam-packed show today, including an interview with cinematographer Neil Oseman and filming manager Luke Flynn. But first we have Siobhan O'Donnell, an industry floor manager and NFTS lecturer here to talk to us about the real state of the film and TV industry. We had our industry news correspondents Millie and Jacob interview her earlier this week.
Okay, my name is Siobhan. I work mainly as a first assistant director, floor manager, across all kinds of genres in the industry. I think the problem with networking is that it all sounds a bit corporate and a bit business-like. You know, it's sort of, you imagine a whole load of sort of suits stood in a room all talking about their CVs. But actually, in practice, all networking means is talking to people. If you can talk, you know, in an interested level to the people that are around you, obviously pick your moments. I mean, if they're really, really busy, but that is literally all it is. It's just chatting. The upturn has been in scripted, so what we would call drama. The decline has been made in things like comedy programmes. There are not many comedy programmes being made. The message from the commissioners is less volume but higher standards. So they will give a large proportion of their budget to the bigger programmes. Money into the traitors because it's very popular and it sells around the world. Music, there's no music programmes. There's nothing like your Top of the Pops, your weekly chart show. New music, there used to be loads of new music shows for all sorts of genres. They have taken a real hit. The British TV industry is still, in my opinion, the best in the world. we make the best programmes across a whole range of genres. I would also say, if you are thinking of a career, look to where the not what the demise is, look to where the expansion is happening.
Wow, thank you so much, Siobhan. I'm sure our next guests are really going to benefit from your insight. We welcome Harry and Anarghya, who are making a film called Varja. Let's have a look at behind-the-scenes pictures. Okay. Hello, it's great to have you guys in the studio today. What was your role during filming?
I was a writer and director.
And I'm a cinematographer.
And it looks like you had a blast making the film. What is it about?
Well, on the surface, it is a superhero film, but really it's more about a man with anxiety, and it's about a guy who doesn't want to be a superhero, actually, and it's all about the responsibilities that are weighing him down.
And I think the thing for me that jumps out about it is we have this man who has to choose between his superhero life and his home life, as many superheroes do, but our one actually has this sort of mental breakdown and can't choose either. Oh. He's stuck in limbo. He can't go anywhere because of this anxiety that he's feeling.
And what do you think the hardest thing about being a student filmmaker is?
Money. Well, because the thing is, right, you can dream all you want because your imagination is wild and free to have, but to make it, happen, logistics and money weighs you down. Because I think that was one of the biggest things for us as well. Even though it wasn't the biggest challenge.
We got lucky because we had this Kickstarter as part of our uni course, as part of making the film. We had Kickstarters. We had to raise the money to make the thing. And we raised half of that, 50% in a good sort of 3-4 days. Yeah. Wow. But the rest took about 3 months to get. It was such a boom, and then such a process of getting people interested, getting people invested, getting people to like the film. But it's not just the money, it's locations, it's transport, it's feeding people. It's the things you don't think about.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming in today. Really appreciate it. For this week's Raw Review, we have cinematographer Neil Oseman interviewed by our very own Harry.
Thank you, Sadie. Welcome to Roll Review. My name is Harrison Boyd, and I'm an aspiring cinematographer. I'm joined today with Neil Oseman, acclaimed director of photography whose work spans feature films, web series, and fantasy productions. Neil, it's great to have you with us.
Very nice to be here.
So, let's take a look at your work.
That sure does interest me.
So, Neil, those clips that we've just seen were from The Little Mermaid and from Ren, the Girl with the Mark.
Yep.
So could you tell me a little bit about how making those films and web series you used the 3M method, something you've coined yourself?
Yes, so the 3 M's are mood, motivation, and modelling, and I think they're the 3 most important things that a DP thinks about when they're approaching lighting a scene. So the mood might be dark and shadowy, like the clip from Ren the Girl with a Mark, or it might be very colourful, like the fairy tale world of the Little Mermaids. Motivation is, where is the light meant to be coming from? Does it look realistic? Is it from lanterns? Is it from the magical glow of the water? From daylight coming in through a window or whatever?
And is that your favourite part of the job? What's your favourite part?
What I love about being a DP is being very close to the heart of the action, operating the camera myself, and being the director's right-hand person.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Neil. We're going to be talking to you later in the show, but thank you for coming into the studio today. Neil and I thank you for sharing your knowledge, and we'll be back in the studio with Sadie.
Thank you, Neil and Harry, for that interesting look on the job of a cinematographer. Now we are joined in the studio by Luke Flynn, the filming manager for the Royal Naval College in London. Hi, welcome, Luke.
Hi there.
So, what is your role?
So my role, working for the Old Royal Naval College, which is the #1 heritage filming location in the UK. You've probably seen it in many famous sort of TV shows and films, and I oversee every aspect of filming on the site. That's from the initial sort of reaching out, the inquiries, through the scouting, the director's recceing, the technical recce, the actual filming, and then the legal and sort of financial stuff afterwards. And I'm really there to sort of try and balance filmmakers' aims and objectives against looking after the building and making sure both parties end up pleased.
Amazing. And how can students get involved?
So the best way for students to get involved is probably through film marshalling. And then through film marshalling, I would say getting involved in location management. That's who I deal with on a day-to-day basis, and they are involved in every aspect of the film, from the grips, the sparks, the director, the art department. They'll touch base with everyone, so it's the best place to be positioned to get a really broad view of the filming process and how that works, and get your foot in the door.
Lovely. And what films and TV shows have you dealt with as a filming manager?
So most recently, you'll have seen the Old Royal Naval College in the Painted Hall in the trailer to Jurassic World, which should be out very shortly. And then more recently and historically, I've worked on the likes of The Crown, Bridgerton, Slow Horses, The Great, and films like Napoleon.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge.
No problem.
Thank you. Teleprompter's not going. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. I want to say thank you to all our guests. This week we have the EPPS playing us out to the show today. I've been your host, Sadie. The EPPS, everyone.
I thought I was alone, then I looked outside my window. Never thought that I'd be shown all the pieces that were intact. But I fell through, so deeper and so hollow. My heart is so willing, hold on, this night is still brand new. Call it stupid, call it lame, look for someone else to blame. But I fell through, I lost my point of view. Every night I fight my fears, never want to shed no tears. I fell through, I lost my point of view. Heart's beating like a drum, am I supposed to still be having fun? My sense of direction, I lost the projection of my worldview. Are you still so hard.